Hi everyone, I'm Jamie and today I'm going to be teaching you about using input in Python. What is input and how can we actually use it in Python? Well, input is something that requires using variables and types, and input is information supplied to a computer by its user. For example, we could get input asking a user for their favourite day in the year, or for their birthday, or for some information about them to supply to the computer. We could ask them when they think the next hurricane will be, and things like that. Okay, so let's open up the Python idle and let's actually start writing some code. Okay, let's put our shell onto the left side of our screen, and let's create a new file and put that to the right of our screen. And now we actually need to use input. So in order to do that, we must define a variable. I'm going to be using favorite color, and that will relate to the input that I'm actually trying to get. And that will be equal to string, parentheses, input, which is the command or function in Python that I'm going to be using, parentheses, quotation marks, and then I can actually ask a user for something. So I'm going to say, please enter your favorite color. And then let's close that off with our double parentheses, because we're actually doing parentheses, parentheses, which means we need two at the end to close off the equation. Okay, so let's run this script and see what happens. First, we must save, and let's run the script. So we're prompted in a way where we're asked by the program to enter our favorite color. So let's say red, but nothing actually happens. So we need a way for the program to tell us or to inform us of what we actually entered. So like we did in our second Python tutorial, we can print. So let's print our favorite color, and let's save this program and let's run the module. So now we can enter our favorite color, red, and red is printed. But if we want to fix that up, we can do quotation marks, you entered, colon, quotation marks, plus. Let's save that and let's run. We can enter a color, and it will tell us what we actually entered. Okay, so let's do something else now. So favorite TV, because we're going to find out the favorite TV show of a user. So let's do string, because that's our sequence of characters, it's our type that we're using. Parentheses, input, parentheses, quotation marks, please enter your favorite TV show. And we'll do double parentheses to close off the equation, and once again we'll print what the user entered. Okay, let's save this script and let's run. So now we can enter our favorite color, pink, and it will tell us what we entered. And then we're prompted to enter our favorite TV show. So I'll say Hollyoaks, and there was an error. And the reason there was an error is because we used the incorrect variable. So let's type in favorite TV instead. And let's try to run this again. So we can type in red, wonderful, favorite TV show, Hollyoaks, and it'll tell us what we entered. We must remember to use the same variables that the question relates to. So when we're asking a user for their favorite color, we use the variable favorite color. And then to print that favorite color, we have to reference to the variable that the input is assigned to, if that makes sense. Again with the second input. Okay, so let's do something else. Instead of doing strings, let's try to do integers. So type int, input, please enter your lucky number. So we're asking a user if they have a lucky number in a way. And once again, let's print you entered plus lucky num. Okay, and let's try and run this and see if we get any errors. So I'm going to say red, Hollyoaks, and I'm going to say 5. And the reason we're getting this error now is because we can't actually do plus. But if we do, we have to do int, parentheses, and then double parentheses to close off the equation. Let's try to run this again. Red, Hollyoaks, and let's enter 5. Oh, we got another error. And this is why this is happening. Instead of doing a plus, let's try doing a comma. So let's run that module. Okay, so our favourite colour is red, our favourite TV show is Hollyoaks, and our lucky number is 5. So the reason that we're actually getting that error is because we're doing plus, and if we're trying to add a number to a string, that's virtually impossible, because in Python there's a calculator dictionary, which means that if you're typing in an equation with operators, so plus, greater than or equal to, minus, divide, etc., whenever you try to add strings together, it just doesn't really work out. So that works great. So let's actually split up what we've done here, because we don't want to get our code messed up too much. Okay, so let's do our fourth and final input. Number 1 is equal to int parentheses input parentheses, and we'll ask a user for number 1. Okay, and what we're going to do here, what we're going to try to achieve, is to get the user to enter 2 numbers and then result in a multiplication, so to have them 2 numbers multiply with each other. So number 2 is equal to int input number 2, and then we'll double off with parentheses. Okay, so let's do print again, except this time we're not actually going to do you entered and stuff and the code that's after that. We are going to do a similar thing, however. So we're going to do int brackets number 1, and then we're going to do int parentheses number 2. Okay, and let's double that off. So what we're trying to achieve is for the numbers that we entered to be shown. So you entered these numbers, and then what we're going to do is print them numbers, but we're going to multiply them. So number 1 by number 2. And what that will do is print the result of this. So we're doing times, as in times these, multiply them. And let's see if this works. Okay, so our favourite colour is orange, our favourite TV show is Waterloo Road, and our lucky number is 6, and we entered 6. Great, so let's enter 2 numbers. So I'm going to do 2 and 5, and we entered 2 and 5, and 2 times 5 is 10. So instead of just printing out what we entered, we can actually multiply those numbers and things like that. It's really interesting what we can do here. So a few things to remember. In order to do input, you need to use variables, and in order to print what the user entered or the input, you need to print the variable that is assigned to the input. Also, you can use types with input, so we can ask a user for a number, which is an integer, or we can ask for a sequence of characters, a string, or we can ask for a float, which is a decimal number. Although we didn't cover floats in this video, it's generally similar. So instead of doing string, we do float. It's pretty self-explanatory, although I don't feel as though it's necessary to cover that. In fact, challenge for this video, try and do a float input at home. Okay, so if you'd like to learn more, check out my channel. And if this interests you, I bet you can't wait for the next set of tutorials. Thank you for watching.